I had that damn thing on Wi-Fi and I took it off. But we're about the end of the book. This is chapter 23. I'm reading there's 25 chapters, I believe. So we'll be done in a couple more days. I'll see about reading the next book. Okay, or I might start a different series or something. Tickle your ears with something else. Changes are coming up, people, in my life, that's for sure. I know I've said that before, but I'm going to make a change in my life. I'm not going to keep doing what I'm doing the way I'm doing it. I'm making changes. I give people advice, they don't listen to it. They pay a price. I see that happen over and over again. Why should I give free advice? Pay me for my advice. I help people relocate for free. I don't charge them for it. They screw me over, stab me in the back, steal from me. I'm not doing it anymore. Pay me. Donate to the ministry. I'm not asking for money. I don't give a crap about money. I never have. I'd be a millionaire if I cared about money. David Avocado Wolf one time had a video, great video, why I am not a millionaire. And because I care about people more than I care about money. That's why. But caring about people involves making some changes in the way I'm doing it. It's not working. Never has, never will. I finally figured that out. It's a Shemitah this year, this month, next month it's a Shemitah, 7 years. I want to see a change. Okay, much to learn about magic. They flew home just before the sun went down. Susan rode on the Spirit Flyer with John. The rest of the family rode with the grandfather Kramer on the old red tractor. Everyone felt tired, but full of life and peace, the way you feel after a day at the beach. While they ate tomato soup and toasted cheese sandwiches, no one spoke. Grandfather Kramer knew it was good for them to think quietly about the rescue and the great things done. When everyone finished eating, the old man finally spoke. We need to talk. But Catherine yawned, then Aunt Betty yawned, followed by Susan, then everyone yawned, even Grandfather Kramer. They needed to do an after-action report. I tried to do that the other day. Everybody was too busy, didn't want to do it, so everybody pays a price for not doing it. We need to stay awake and alert, the old man said. This tiredness is a trick of theirs. We need to talk about the change. We need to understand better what happened today. You mean we can't go to bed, Lois asked. I'm sleepy. That's right, it's bedtime, Uncle Bill said. Just because we've had an unusual day doesn't mean the house rules change. Good, chimed in Catherine, because I'm tired too. Me too, young Susan. I don't know when I felt so tired. But we need to talk, the old man said, just for a while. We need to look at the chains. I have them here in the garage. They aren't ordinary chains. They could still be very dangerous. It's really getting late, Dad, Uncle Bill said. I have house rules, and I don't think we should break them just because of those little chains. We can look at them tomorrow. You don't need to get back since Mom is still visiting Aunt Esther. We'll have plenty of time. I just need to show you a few things before we forget, Grandfather Kramer said. We forget deep things like we forget dreams. Now is the time to hear and see. Tomorrow, Uncle Bill said. Let's go to bed, all. Tomorrow will be fresher. I'd like to see the change, John said, and maybe we could look at those old bicycle instruments. Can we, Grandpa? Well, if we can break some of these old rules, the old man said weakly. I suppose you can stay up if you want, John, Uncle Bill said slowly, but just for a little while. You've got an even longer day. You've had an even longer day than the rest of us. I guess from now on we can relax the rules from time to time. Maybe we should even change a few, but not tonight. It's bedtime. Everyone left the room, except Grandfather Kramer and John. The old man smiled, watching them leave. For a moment I thought he hadn't learned a thing, Grandfather Kramer said. Change is always slow. Anyway, the Kings work their magic as they see fit. Let's go to the garage. The cardboard box with the bicycle instruments was still on the workbench where John had left it. Grandfather Kramer carefully handled the old broken light, the rubber horn, the generator, the gear lever, and the rearview mirror. These are fine things, the old man said. Fine things in wonderful condition. But they're broken, John exclaimed, surprised that his grandfather couldn't see that for himself. Of course they're broken, Grandfather Kramer said. All things of the Spirit Flyers are old and broken. But your bicycle has a lot of magic, doesn't it? Yes, I suppose, John said. Well, why don't the Kings make these things that are nice and new? Things that last a little longer. You have a lot to learn, boy, the old man said. Someday you'll get an idea of how old this bicycle is. Deep things last forever. But why is it all beat up and junky, John asked. I don't want to complain, really. I just don't understand. This kid's dumb, isn't he? Look, boy, Grandfather Kramer said firmly, if these instruments are broken, it's only because they had to be broken. And they had to be broken because we are broken. Don't you see that yet? You haven't even begun to know the wonders of this old broken bicycle. Broken bicycle. Can you imagine how hard it would be if these things weren't broken but new? You couldn't even stay seated in the Spirit Flyer, even strapped on with a steel seatbelt. You'd be blown away in the wind, burned up by the heat. All I'm saying is that if you want to become a good rider of this bicycle, you need to learn what you're sitting on and for what purpose. I guess there are a lot of secrets I don't know, John said. He stroked the handlebars of the old red bike, feeling a dent. Well, as you keep riding, you'll understand why this bike was sent from the deeper world to find you, Grandfather Kramer said. You'll learn more about the King's Son and his magic, but you can't learn it all in one day. We saw him, John said in a hushed voice. In that room where the chains fell off, we saw him, Grandpa. He was in the light. I mean, the light was coming from him. I was too afraid to speak about him. None of us did, but we all saw. I hardly even wanted to talk about it. I know, the old man said. He patted John on the shoulder. Sometimes we talk best inside our hearts, not out of our mouths. The King's here. The old man walked over to the tractor. He climbed up to get the chains. Then he frowned and sighed. I was afraid of that, he said sadly. He sighed again. Hang on. What's wrong, John asked. The chains are already gone, the old man said. They've been stolen. What, John said, but who could have stolen them? The demons, of course, he said, the slaves of the serpent. The ones you saw today. You mean like that giant Barely Smedlow thing, the boy asked? He looked around the garage fearfully, then ran over and got the slingshot off the handlebars of the Spirit Flyer. He's learning. He didn't run to grab a gun. Not like there's a gun around since he melted it down. The damage is already done, the old man said wearily. I just hoped it wouldn't have happened so soon. We lost that magic moment when we could have looked at the danger. I wanted to show it to you all while the victory was still fresh. We'll have other chances, I'm sure. But I wish we wouldn't delay our lesson. Such a waste. Sometimes I forget how scared we are of the magic of freedom. The old man shook his head and then climbed off the tractor. Well, why would the demons steal the chains, John said. So they could put them back on us, Grandfather Kramer said. A person can still act like a slave even though the locks are broken. The demons try to put broken chains back on their assigned people. They shadow them hard and whisper dead thoughts. Soon a person can be believed he's a slave again, and when he isn't. The tragic of the broken chains is powerfully dark and dangerous. We need to learn to keep the chains off. John looked fearfully around the room. He held the slingshot. Then he remembered that last horrible face just before he left the dark, dead world of the serpent. I saw something very odd in that place, John said. Those demons looked like other children at school, like Barry Smedlow, but right before we escaped, I saw one marching out of the darkness with the others, and he looked like me. Of course there's at least one assigned to you, Grandfather Kramer said. We all have at least one. You probably have even more. Why do you think all those things happened? Ever since the Spirit Flyer found you, the forces of darkness have been afraid. That's why the tornado snake appeared so strongly to you, to frighten you away from the magic and keep you in chains. Don't forget, a war is going on in the deeper world as it touches our world. Today was your first big battle, and the forces of darkness lost. The forces of death lost. The order of the chains was weakened. But other battles will go on every hour of every day, so we must be open to the King's magic. You will learn as you ride the Spirit Flyer. It sounds kind of scary, but exciting too, the boy said as he looked at the wonderful old red bike. Will the instruments help? Can we put them on tonight? Do it all right now. The instruments make the magic more complete, Grandfather Kramer said, but let's look at them tomorrow. Tonight was the time to learn about the change. You can't rush magic. You don't run before you walk. And you aren't even ready to walk. You aren't ready even to walk. You still need to sit on the Spirit Flyer and fly. You haven't yet learned patience. You jump off and fall through the roof, so you go off with a useless weapon of this world, like your uncle's gun. You didn't put on the instruments as you were told to. The demons tricked you that much. Well, I thought they were broken and no good, John said, trying to excuse himself. How could I know they worked? Trust and obey. Because you were told and did know deep inside, the old man said firmly, the spirit flyer wouldn't have moved at all if you hadn't taken the slingshot. You wanted to leave it behind too, didn't you? Yes, John said in a small voice. I'm sorry. Don't be discouraged, Grandfather Kramer said. We all make mistakes. You can only say you're sorry, then hop right back on that bike. Don't worry about what would have happened. That's the great thing about the King's magic. It's just our size, changing our failures into magic. You'll learn just like you're learning something important right now. What's that? John asked. I'll let you think about it, the old man said, his eyes twinkling. And we'll look at the instruments tomorrow. But remember, the kings only give the magic as you have need of them. You can't rush it. You don't put on your shoes before your socks. But John wasn't really listening, of course. Normally, naturally. He stared at the cardboard box full of magic instruments, suddenly greedy to try them and use them. Try them out and use them. He wanted thrills and more magic. He didn't see two deep hands slip his broken chain around his neck. The chain rested deep, invisible to him, but Grandfather Kramer could see the chain gleaming out of the boy's eyes, and he knew John would have to learn about the dangers of the chain from the kings. His words hadn't been enough to warn the young magic flyer. Good night. Hey, Ray. Gadian. Hey, where's Zapped and Kaboom, man? That's weird. Got two more chapters. I'll probably read or fit them. Yeah, they're short. They're both short. I'll read them both tomorrow night. Okay. Good night. I gotta correct all my titles, the ones that have 2 chapters in them. Good night, guys. Hey, youngster. Yeah. There's Zepton. Hey, how many wrenches there? We got 1, 2, 3 wrenches. 3 people, 3 wrenches. That's cool. All right, good night. Now I'm going to talk for a little bit. What the hell? Let's look at you guys have been faithful followers and all that good stuff. Daniel Faint. Daniel Fant. What? The hell did that say? Ray, come back. Daniel Fart. Daniel Fart. Oh, Daniel Fart. Ray, tell me you're still here. Let me know who's on still, because I'm gonna talk a little bit. Only 3. That's and Gary and Ray. I think that's the 3. Tell me you're all still on right now, or I'm gonna go ahead and sign out. 2. Okay, only 2. Oh well. Okay, well, I'll say real quickly here. In June, one of my subscribers has rented a house on Stockton Lake, and I'm going to try to have get-togethers with my children. That may or may not fly, since blood is not sicker than water. Yeah, they may or may not come visit, or I don't know. Anyway, it'd be time of prayer and videos, cooking, off-grid cooking stuff, videos. I want to do a lot of those. I want to read as much as I can. I might start another book just to read it while I'm there. Gonna have about 4 days, 15th through the 19th, I believe. So, be a really good time. Exercise, getting healthy, praying, and hopefully ministering to my children. So, and if nothing happens after that, I'm done with this whole thing. I'm quitting, and I'm serious about that. I'm not gonna keep doing this the way I'm doing it. I mean, I'm just not gonna do it. It's killing me. I need a change of pace. I need a sabbatical. I need some healing. I need to do something different. I'm going to do something different. Period. End of story. So I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be different. I'm not going to keep doing what I'm doing. I absolutely refuse. Okay. Well, the Lord heard me on that one, I hope. And this is a Shemitah. 7 years since my divorce. It's been, and it was a Shemitah that year, I believe, totally believe. 2001, 2008, 2015, and this is 2022. 7 years. And supposed to return to my land, return to family, and things like that. So if that don't happen, then I want God to fulfill His law. That's what I want. I want Him to be true to the law and make it happen. So I want to see some changes. And if I don't see changes, I'm done with it. All right. There. Father, I pray that you'll make changes in my life. Hallelujah. Restore the years that the cankerworm has eaten and the moth has eaten and the rust has corroded. Restore some of my family to me. And make changes in my life. Okay. God bless. See y'all. Y'all. Is that a young part? Young pot? Got it yet?